Brexit negotiators must break the deadlock in the wrangling over a trade deal or risk Britain leaving the European Union without an agreement. The UK and EU will hold their final scheduled round of negotiations in Brussels this week, starting on Tuesday, in the hope they can make sufficient progress in order to justify extra sessions ahead of Boris Johnson's October 15 deadline. Both sides have expressed cautious optimism ahead of what is expected to be a make-or-break week for their future relations beyond the end of the year. But talks start today with a meeting of the Joint Committee, chaired by Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove and Commission Vice President Mauro Sefcovic, to discuss the implementation of last year's divorce deal. Brussels is still reeling after Downing Street put forward legislation to rip up sections of the withdrawal agreement relating to Northern Ireland. However, the bloc believes completion of a free trade agreement will alleviate concerns in Number 10 about the province being cut off from mainland Great Britain. If by Friday enough progress is made in the negotiations, UK and EU officials will enter the tunnel, a top-secret, intensive, round of talks, to hammer out the final details of the trade deal before a summit of European leaders on October 15. European sources have suggested the bloc will need sufficient assurances on Britain's future state aid policy, fishing opportunities and the government's internal market bill ahead of sanctioning the talks. An EU diplomat told Express, "We're not at that stage yet, you can't talk about entering the tunnel when you're still many miles from its opening." EU 27 capitals are also demanding an ironclad enforcement mechanism to ensure Britain abides by any free trade agreement after recent suggestions the government would be willing break international law. The EU doesn't want to take the UK's commitment to any future treaty on mutual trust, but instead it wants to make them legally binding with clear sanctions if Boris Johnson moves unilaterally to break them. The issue of the Brexit bill is being kept at arm's length from Michel Barnier and Lord Frost, the two chief negotiators, but officials close to them have suggested a bust-up in the Joint Committee could deliver a devastating blow to the trade talks.